being different, being born different, being raised differently, being literally different when it comes to skin or religion or whatever thing, or just way of thinking, way of standing in life. This can be a hassle, this can be a pain in the butt, and especially when we're young, we tend to suffer from it. In this video, I would like to share with you the different stages I went through and how eventually I managed to transform what looked like a weakness into a strength, a huge strength. So stay tuned, get inspired. Hi, my name is Lotfi M'Rad. In this video I would like to share with you my personal insights on being different. Me myself being from a mixed background, my mom being from Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and my father being from Tunisia but having a background which is like really a big mix of Mediterranean, Italian, Cyprus, Turkish, Berber. So yeah, you get the picture. And I was born in Holland, then immediately 1 month after my birth moved to Tunisia, where I was raised all my youth, visiting Holland every year or every 2 years on holidays. My father always being at work, my mom being the one raising me mainly. She was very open-minded. To give you an example, she would read me at the age of 4 the Bible, a children version, and she would tell me at that age, don't take it literally, but understand the meaning behind the story. That's just to give you an indication on what it means to be raised open-minded. At the same time, we lived in relatively small cities or in a village, and most people didn't know much back then. We talk about the 70s, and what they knew basically from Europe was France, because that was the ex-colonist, and most people, if they would go abroad, they would go to France. So everyone was a Frenchman who was a foreigner. But in my case, I was a Dutch cow because the only thing they knew from Holland were Dutch cows, the big cows producing a lot of milk. So my mom tried to tell me that I should take it as a compliment, but as a child, it's not fun. That changed in 1988 when Holland became the European champion of football, and then we had Gullit, Van Basten, Rijkaard, Koeman. So suddenly I was a little bit more popular. But what did it imply, being different? Basically, you get discriminated. And discrimination, not just white people discriminating black people, or black people discriminating white people, or one race discriminating another one, because I was mixed race. So my skin color was a little bit lighter than average, but it was my way of thinking, it was my way of expressing myself, which was obviously different, but also the knowledge I had. Because I had been traveling all my life, I had seen more than just the village where I was living, more than just the country I was living in. And the difference could be like really enormous between the two countries. Holland being, yeah, modern country, first world country, very modern, very developed, innovative. And Tunisia was a developing country which was just 20, 25 years out of colonizations, in the process of building up, and a Muslim country, and especially living in a village made it worse. I mean, even if you would move from Amsterdam to a small village in the Netherlands, it would not be fun. In the Netherlands we have the Bible Belt, which is a bunch of villages and some small cities where people are still living like in the 1500s in here. I mean, they may have a car instead of a horse, but they still all go to church on Sunday wearing dark clothes. The women, especially if they're widows, completely in black, and doing certain things on Sunday is a big sin. I mean, like the Jews on the Sabbath, but not all the Jews are like that, but the extreme ones, the Orthodox ones. And so you may find these differences in every country. I mean, I live now in Romania, and there is the Romanians from the city, there is the peasants from the farmland, and there are the gypsies. And I don't need to explain to you what that means. So you have this in every country. And also, even in Holland, where they say, Holland is very tolerant, that's just PR. Even Amsterdam is not that tolerant anymore. But Amsterdam is the most tolerant city in the Netherlands, and then you have Rotterdam, maybe Utrecht. And then it's just peasant behavior. What they don't know, they're afraid of, or they discriminate, or they spit on, or they look down on. So even second and third generation Moroccans, so people from who their grandparents or came from Morocco or Turkey, are still looked at, they're still called Moroccans or Turks. Well, they have the Dutch nationality. Most of them only have the Dutch nationality, but because they have a different color or just they look different, they're labeled. And so in these cases, you can focus on the bad things, and that's generally what you do as a child. You look at how you're not being accepted. You look at how bad they make you feel. You would love to belong to the herd, where when you grow up at a certain moment, this changes. Like today, and already for many, 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 many years, I definitely don't want to belong to the herd. The masses are the ones who are controlled by the media, who are believing all the crap they see on TV. They all go into the same direction when one asshole stands up and says, oh, we should go in that direction, those are the bad people, hit them. I mean, look at the US, perfect example. You have a total moron who's at the head of the state now, but also before. Obama was more like a fox. People thought he was really nice, but at the same time he was also doing nasty things. But then just look at second Bush, total moron. Trump, total moron. But okay, people voted for them. The masses voted for them. Maybe not the exact majority, but close to half of the population voted for them. So do you really want to belong to the masses? I personally, I don't want. But that has consequences. It means that the masses may look at you like, oh, that strange guy. Why is he behaving like, why is he not just like all of us? Well, in Holland, there was plenty of expressions about how not to be different from the rest. Literally not trying to rise above the average. And on top of that, they added Calvinism, and you were not even allowed to be proud of what you would be doing. And that comes from the influence of the church back then, who was really saying, like, everyone should be equal. But somehow are a little bit more equal. Like the royal family, the nobles, oh yes, those. So there are differences. So if you were born rich, for example, aristocrat, then you'd also be looked up on by others like, these nasty rich people. And is it your fault that you were born in a rich family, that you were having silver spoons at the dinner table instead of wooden ones? No. Was it your fault that you were born poor? Was it your fault you were born in a certain country? No. Was it your fault you were born a certain skin color or size? No. But then how can you transform you being different in something good? Beautiful example is football. So, sports in general. So, sports in general, you will see that in the US, black people were famous and popular if they were very good at sports because they would raise the name of the US. So suddenly these were US citizens and they were proud of them because uh, Mike Tyson, for example, was super fast on the 100 meters. Michael Jordan, oh, the old Michaels now. He was incredible at basketball. So, hey, can be an advantage. If you look at football, you often see that the shorter players are the best at dribbling, at going, zigzagging through the others, almost going in between the legs of the other players. They're the ones who scored the goals. So for example, Lionel Messi has been the best football player in the world for over a decade now. And he's tiny. And he's not the only one. So you could look for how you being different can be used in your advantage. So some people abused the system. For example, in Holland, like, yeah, but I'm this or that, and that's why I'm being discriminated, so I do not find a job, so please give me welfare. Yeah, that's one possibility. Another possibility is looking at, okay, I'm really good at this thing, or because I'm different, I have this kind of knowledge. So in Holland, for example, and I keep giving a lot of examples because I lived there most of my adult life, um, people literally say, oh, you have like something needs to be repaired. Oh, I have a little Turk around the corner. Basically what they mean, a Turkish tailor. Those are the ones who are affordable and work fast. Dutch tailors. I guess they do exist, but in Amsterdam, never heard of them. The Turks were known for this. And they were good at it. I also had my little Turk, I mean, a short guy, in a small shop, and he was really good, and he really fixed things that I was not sure could be fixed, and fixed them in a very good way. And I was like, oh wow, it's even better than when it was new. So, and also, if I wanted good meat, when I was still eating regularly meat, um, it was also a foreigner, but it was known that if in Amsterdam you wanted to have good meat, you would go to a Turk or a Moroccan butcher. They would have the same or better prices, but much tastier meat. Somehow the white butchers were having crappy stuff. Probably the same stuff that you find in the supermarkets where they glue the meat together, and I don't know what they were doing, but they were very expensive because they had these very fancy looking shops. But the taste of the meat was not that good. I mean, I would organize a barbecue and I would have a cousin of mine who was living in the richest, one of the richest villages of cities of the Netherlands. All the rich people are living, and he would be like, oh, but this meat tastes so good. Where do you get this? And I was like, don't you live in the city where they have all the fancy stuff? Yeah, I know, but they don't have this quality of meat. Oh yeah, I just have this Hindustan shop around the corner here, and I was living in a relatively poor area, or an area which was not having like the reputation of being the nice fancy place in the Netherlands. So yeah. Also, when it came to vegetables, for example, you should look for a small grocery store, 99% of the time owned by foreigners, but often second, third generation. So they were basically Dutch people, just looking different, and they would have the better food. So if you look again at yourself and what you're different at, you can find the benefits. Within business, for example, I have been moving around from sector to sector. So I have been in law enforcement at the airport. I was in banking, ABN AMRO Bank. I was, well, it would mean finance. I was in telecom slash sales at Vodafone. I was in finance again at UPS and recruitment, what you would say the transport sector. I was doing recruitment work in the renewable energy sector, wind, solar. So another sector, I was doing there also partner management and sales. I was in the laboratory sector where I was selling all the products you need in laboratories. So all the physical products, the hardware, the glass stuff, the plastics, but also the machineries, the closets, and chemicals. And all this led me to be very all-round. And back in 2008, I was headhunted by a company. And during the job interview, the guy sat down with me and was like, yeah, your CV, I've seen it, so please don't tell me anything that's in there. Seen that. I invited you already down here, so tell me something about you. And we started talking. And it was interesting because it was when George Bush was still president, and the image we had from Americans, they were dumb people, because in the news about America you would mainly hear George Bush did this, or he wore binoculars without taking the covers off, or he was reading a book, well, it was upside down. Maybe he was very good at reading upside down, I don't know. Some people can read in mirror. And then I got headhunted and invited to meet the boss, and the boss was an American, so I was like, oh no, please. But then when I sat down with the guy and started talking with him, I was like, wow, you're a fake American. You're more a European. You're a real human being. You're a smart person. You're open-minded, and I mean all the things George Bush was not. All the things Americans were not, according to the Dutch back in the days. I mean that changed when Obama became president. But with that guy, I had a very good conversation, and in the end, he hired me. And I only realized this few weeks in, and then few months and a few years in, because I was different. So first of all, because of my multicultural background, I spoke 5 languages. So that was key for the company. So if you are different, you may speak a language others don't speak. So some people become translators, some people use this in their advantage to reach other markets. Then I had so many different experiences, and I was able to adapt to different very different situations, deal with crisis situations, changes, and that was needed because this company was a recruitment company that was about to land a huge contract. And as soon as I was in, it was landed, the contract. So on day 2, my job description changed already. I had to dedicate 50% of my time not on recruiting or managing a recruitment team, but on becoming partner manager. Managing other recruitment firms who would assist us to cover the needs of our main clients throughout Europe, because we need to hire 500 people within 1 year. And we were a company of 12, 13 people when I joined. So that was difficult, and it was geographically not that easy, although we had a lot of teleconferencing and stuff already. But also when it came to expertise, if you need a tax legal expert, it's so niche, you won't find them on LinkedIn, on online or whatever. No, you need to know people. You need to come from that, and you need to have studied it. You need to have really met those people, and that's how you have your network. So we needed different companies to help us. And so I was day two bombarded to be partner manager. And then moving on, at a certain moment we decided to, oh yeah, I saw, for example, that the website was really crappy. So when I mentioned it, it was like, yeah, good point. We want to do something about that. Why don't you take that on your plate? So I learned again a lot of new skills, not very much the building the website, but after finding the right person to do it, who really understood what we needed, it became for me very important to understand the mechanics behind, then understand graphic design, because we had to design things. So we had a graphic designer that we would be hiring for certain things, and I would be the connection between her and the web designer and the management. And so I was talking to different languages to different people, understanding enough from them to connect them and to basically create a good looking, efficient operating website. And then at a certain moment we had to set up for the client a new company which was doing wind turbine maintenance, because this company was an Indian company who was expanding within Europe, and they needed also a maintenance company, and they could not set that up immediately. So what we suggested was that we were doing the hiring anyway. We were a European country. We also had an office in Spain, and they needed it in Spain. So, well, we set up the company for you in Spain, and in a year, when you have finished all your paperwork, you buy it back from us for €1. And in the meanwhile, we invoice you for all the expenses. So before I knew it, I was also partner manager for wind turbine maintenance. But first we had to set up the company, find offices, and so I had to manage a lot. But I could adapt. And then we had to represent the company on a fair, because that company alone was not enough to keep all the engineers working. So we needed to expand. And so I had to set up a fair there. And we needed material to be on the fair, like brochures, flyers. We had only one flyer from when I had to attend a fair before. And we needed a website. So I managed that. And of course, I got support from people, and I had different people help, but I had to manage all that. And it did well, actually. We had great results, but I also had to find new partners who would assist us within that new specialty, within the wind turbine maintenance, like a lubrication company, because things need to be lubricated. A company that would build elevators that we could install because we had the engineers. A company that would be managing the lights, these flashy lights, so that airplanes don't fly into them. And the lights inside, and so there was a lot coming on our plate. So all this was possible. So I had a great job because it was so diverse. And I was also responsible for marketing, of course. And I had a lot of fun. And I was earning a good salary because I was very valuable to the company. And that was my high point when it came to the corporate world. The previous high point was when I was chairman of the part of the work council representing 1,000 salespeople within Vodafone. That was something I grew towards too. But then this was a totally different level, because I even became global partner manager when we opened offices in India, in Sweden, in the UK, in the US. So a lot happened. And that all was possible. And even our expansion, I played an important role in that. So all those things that I did were possible because, in the first place, I was born different. A Dutch mom, a Tunisian father, who among them were talking German. And the second language in Tunisia was French. So I started with Dutch, German, French, and then Tunisian Arabic and English. When I said 5 languages, I put the Tunisian and Arabic together, but actually they're 2 languages. And also learned a few words of Spanish because I was going a lot to Spain. So just look at what are your strengths, what are your possibilities, what can you do because of who you are, what can you see, what others don't because of who you are. We can focus on the bad side of things. We can focus on the good side of things. So I learned from experience that it helps to focus on the good side of things and to see the bigger picture where possible, because then you can see how you fit in and where your possibilities are, where you can move towards to. I hope this video inspired you. I hope this video helped you to understand that you can actually start to really enjoy your life. If you feel the need for help, assistance, then please contact me. I would love to share my experience and to help you find what your strengths are, what your true strengths are, what you're really good at, mostly effortlessly. Looking forward to hearing from you, comments, messages, and see you next video. Have a wonderful day.